Hello and welcome to After the Whistle. I am your host, Brian Dorrington, here with Mango Mukala Kabungo.
Wednesdays.
Yeah, that's when we're airing now.
We're on Wednesdays, so we're glowing on this Wednesday. A lot to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening.
And I called him Mango because he's got a little juice that he made. Is there any mango in it?
Unfortunately, no. There's no mango.
What do you got in there?
So I got cucumbers, pear, orange, some black cherries, blackberries, I should say, apple, kale.
That sounds way too healthy for me.
Kale.
Oh, the kale just ruins it. Ugh.
Yeah, I
Kale.
had my brother try. He almost spit it out.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't go there. It's too much. Cucumber and kale, that's too many vegetables in the juice.
The kale
for me.
is the most important thing to it.
Yeah, okay. That sounds disgusting. All right, let's get on to NFL.
Yeah.
Patriots versus Jaguars you have up first. I'll let you go because I'm still steaming over that one.
The Patriots looked like the team in the Super Bowl defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They did. Blake Bortles had all the time in the world to throw it. He just torched them. They couldn't get off the field on third downs. Even when it was 31-20, they had a chance to get some stops and, make it interesting, get the ball back, another score, an onside kick, it maybe could have helped, but they couldn't get it. They couldn't stop them on third down. They couldn't get them off the field. And they, lack of a pass rush once again. They looked good week one, week two. They just went backwards with it. Blake Bortles, 95 QBR. He threw one interception, but he had 4 touchdowns. And Eric Rowe. I'll let you handle Eric Rowe.
Oh, God, he's the worst. I think he's got to be the worst starting cornerback in the NFL. I can't pretend I know every starting cornerback, but I can't believe that this guy started in the Super Bowl. I won't go back to that, but he was getting beat all over the field. Blake Bortles was looking like Aaron Rodgers. He was making plays with his feet, making plays on the run, out of the pocket. He was hitting various wide receivers, checkdowns to running backs who would take it for 15, 20 yards beyond that. Jacksonville controlled the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball, all game long. And that's really the story of it. The Patriots, they couldn't block. Brady was constantly under pressure. He didn't get sacked too much, but then they had that strip sack, which I don't really blame Brady for, but yeah, the
changed the
offense,
momentum.
It changed the momentum
because it was 24-13, I believe, at the time, and they had just got the interception. So
and Tony Romo had just said, I remember, I can feel the momentum change, and then boom, fumble.
Right there, crucial fumble. So they got a lot to work on the going forward, especially. They need to get a pass rush. The defense just needs a lot of help because the offense looks like the offense is going to carry them, but the defense if you can't make stops, you're not going to win any game. You're not going to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I am worried about the offensive line. They did a great job with Jacksonville, but Brady was just never comfortable last week. Granted, Jacksonville's probably one of the top 3 best defenses in the league, along with the Rams and the Vikings. But Brady was never settled in the pocket, and he had to rush some throws. So I don't know. I know the Patriots will figure it out. It's only week 2. And you and I have said several times this week the Patriots always have one of these losses in the beginning of the season. But it seems like something almost eclipsed that loss, and that was
Josh Gordon landed right on their lap for a 5th-round pick. Now this is one of the most talented receivers who just the off-the-field problems is just keeping him from being on the field. And Craig told me this yesterday when he was having those breakout games back in 2013 or whatever. He was never sober for any of those games. So
I was the one who told Craig that he was drinking before. He drank before every game at Baylor. And all the games before the pros, he was drinking like vodka and stuff before the locker rooms and smoking marijuana before the games too.
So now we'll see what this is his last shot. If he can't get his act together here, I don't think no other team is gonna give him another shot. If he has all the talent in the world, the Patriots need a receiver. They need somebody explosive on the outside. If this guy can get his act together, if he can just stay focused, stay on the field, he'll be a big weapon for Tom Brady.
He has all the physical attributes to be the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's his mental inabilities to stay on the field and stay out of the trouble that are preventing him from being the freak athlete, freak wide receiver that he can be.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating. And I'm sure for Cleveland Browns fans, but at the same time, you have to look where he came from.
Yeah.
He was with Cleveland Brown. He was not in a system where discipline is, the name of the game. He never really had a quarterback. He's now in a place where he can succeed. Guys like this, they need strict leadership from up top. They need a no BS coach, and they need veterans like Tom Brady.
Definitely.
So I think you're right, this is the last stop, and I do think that he has a chance to succeed here. Do you think he starts this week, and do you think he has success?
I don't think
overall
he'll start this
season?
week, but I think he'll have success if he gets on the field. Also, you got to remember, Edelman's coming back in a couple weeks. So him, Gronk, Edelman, that could be a dangerous. Those could be some dangerous weapons. And Philip Dorsett is coming to his own too.
Yeah, he's been playing well.
If it all works out, we could see another explosive offensive year for Brady and that group. And we'll just wait and see. Also to note, the Patriots signed Cyrus Jones. They re-signed him.
Well, we need some cornerbacks.
Yeah, so Corey Coleman, they released him. So I feel bad for that guy. He's already
keeps getting signed, released, signed, released.
So we're gonna see how it plays out. But no panicking over here on the New England side. We've seen this before. Early losses in the seasons don't mean nothing. Patriots play their best football in November, December. So we'll see what happens. In other strange NFL news, this is the first time I ever heard a player retiring at halftime. He just said,
Do you blame him?
No, I don't
Do you really blame him playing for the Buffalo Bills? No.
I don't blame him one bit. Vontae Davis, during halftime, he just said, I was done. And, a lot of people say he might have not even wanted to play this year, but he probably got they probably gave him some money to probably like one last hurrah. Let me get this last contract.
He had some good years with the Dolphins.
Yeah, he did. But I think from what it all looks like, his mind was already set to retire during the offseason.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to give it last go around. He sees what's happening in Buffalo. Then he doesn't want to put himself in harm's way. But when you're not into it, there's no point of being out there. Especially in football. If you've already mentally checked out, it's just gonna end disastrous for you. So maybe he went about the wrong way of doing it, but
I don't know. Who would want to really be a part of that as the Bills? I don't think they're going to win a game this year.
No.
I really don't think that they're going to. They have a terrible defense. Their quarterback, I think that he'll probably be good, but he's a rookie and he's very raw. And there's really no talent
it's like
around
the black
at all.
hole in there.
It really is. And it just drives me crazy because they were a playoff team last year. It's mind-boggling, but I don't blame Vontae Davis.
Even. All those former players that are saying they're mad at him, that they'd want to find him go away.
Yeah, you should stop.
I know a lot of them. They've held on, and when they've already mentally checked out, just for that last contract that they would get. But I mean, hey, football's dangerous anyways. If he wants to walk away with his health, his mind right, I don't blame him. We got the money.
You know what I found out? I didn't know that he and Vernon Davis were brothers.
Oh, you didn't know? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I knew that.
I mean, it makes sense now, two V. Davises.
Now, let's talk about another football abyss, the black hole as well. The Cleveland Browns had ample opportunities to win their first game.
And their second game.
And the kicker just screwed them over.
Zane Gonzalez. You should mention his name. Zane Gonzalez.
Poor Zane Gonzalez. He missed 2 extra points.
Poor Zane Gonzalez. No, he's a pro football player. He's making
kicks.
a bunch of money. I don't feel bad for this guy at all.
I don't either. Make the kicks.
Yeah, make the kicks.
25 yards. Make the kick. Extra point, too.
2 extra points and 2 field goals.
What is wrong with you? Just make the kick. They don't ask of you much. You're not out on the field that often, especially when the offense and defense put together a great performance against a tough team in the Saints. Make the kick. Just make the kick.
And they heading into the fourth quarter, they had a 12-3 lead over the Saints. And the Saints, the fact that they held the Saints to only 3 points for 3 quarters, that's impressive on the defense. The defense was they held the Saints to only 3 third downs on 12 attempts. So the defense played well, and Drew Brees has explosive offense. We saw what they did in the Buccaneers. So there's something to build on in the loss and the tie. But I think they're just so used to winning. Losing, but eventually they're going to find ways to win accidentally.
At some point.
You're going to run out of ways to lose. Seriously, they've lost every single way that you possibly can. Eventually, they're going to have to win a game by accident.
The best part of this is just being on Twitter and watching the misery from all the Browns fans.
I'm not much of a twit guy.
Oh man, you should see them. They were so high, and then the miss kicks in. You just see them and. It's just the Browns. I feel it's hilarious. This is really hilarious. But maybe they'll get their first win this coming Thursday against the Jets. Maybe on some freakish play.
Well, we'll have our predictions at the end. And
another guy who's been hot on a hot streak, Fitzmagic.
Mr. Harvard himself.
The Harvard grad.
Which they say about 5 times a game every time he plays.
He looked like Conor McGregor out there in the post-game conference.
He did.
But he was slinging it, and now this brings a bigger question is, what happens with Jameis Winston? And you and I were talking earlier. We said, keep the hot hand. Deshaun Jackson said the same thing. Keep the hot hand. Mm-hmm. Keep the hot hand. We know what he is. Ryan Fitzpatrick, we know what he is. He'll have these moments, and then he'll have these moments where he throws a lot of picks. But he's good to have, just so in case if he starts playing bad, you can always just put Jameis back in there and keep him and let him go back to his backup role. That's the benefit of him playing this well, because you don't have to take him out. But when he does play bad, he puts together a couple bad games, then you can just put Jameis back in there. So there's no need to rush Jameis back in there. Jameis needs to learn how to do certain things too. He got a lot of maturing to do. So this is good for Jameis to sit back and watch what Fitzpatrick is doing, because he's getting the ball down the field.
Yeah, to me, there's not even a discussion. I mean, he's number 1 in QBR. He's thrown 819 yards in 2 games. That's the most in the NFL.
Was it back-to-back 400 games, right?
Yeah.
That's the first since Cam and Brady did it.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's interesting. And he's got 8 passing TDs, 1 rushing touchdown, and only 1 interception. I mean, this guy is playing lights out.
Yeah.
Is he going to continue this?
We don't know.
This pace? I highly doubt it. But is he a guy right now with what we're seeing that could lead this team to a 12-5 in a division win? I think he can. I think he's that guy. Like you said, once he starts playing bad, if he goes, you keep him in until he's got a streak of games where 2-3 losses in a row. Then that's when you go to Jameis Winston. Because let's not forget, we don't know what Jameis Winston's going to be this year.
Yeah.
He's another guy that has all the talent in the world, but just has not lived up to it.
Yeah.
So right now, Ryan Fitzpatrick's, I love the Ukrainian arms dealer look. It's really cool. Yeah. And he and Deshaun Jackson seem to have a real friendship and an on-field connection,
Chemistry goes a long way, especially on the football field. Chemistry goes a long way, and he's getting along with his receivers very well. Everybody's touching the ball. O.J. Howard, Mike Evans, he's just getting everybody involved. So the Bucs got a good thing going. They were picked last. They were picked to finish last in the division, and right now they're on top of being undefeated. So they got something good going. Just keep the train rolling. If for whatever reason if Fitzpatrick starts playing horribly, then just
get rid of him.
Just put him back on the bench.
Yeah, the only problem is they don't really have a run game. I think Peyton Barber's averaging like 2.9 yards per carry, so they got to work on that.
Yeah.
How about
on the way for Philly?
Yes. Oh, we got Carson Wentz now starting. Let's get your take on that first. What do you think? Too soon?
No.
No?
No. I mean, if he's cleared and he's ready to go, I think put him in there, because put him in. But if he was cleared but he wasn't ready to go, I hold him off for another couple weeks. But it seems like Philly took all the precaution with him. They monitored him very well. So I think this is a good move for him. Nick Foles, he is what he is. I mean, he had that unbelievable run in the playoffs, but he's a backup. So just get Carson Wentz back in there, get him back acclimated with all his weapons. And this guy was on the verge of being an MVP last season if he didn't get hurt. So I'm sure he's itching to get back on the field. I think this is, week 3, perfect time. I said he'd be back around week 5 or 6, but looks like he's ready to go. So I
don't think this is the right spot for him to come back, and this is why.
Who they playing?
Alshon Jeffrey's hurt. Darren Sproles and Ajayi are hurt. Jason Peters is banged up, his left tackle. Mike Wallace is on IR. And they just had to bring in Jordan Matthews because they have who we cut and who was with them previously, who has because they really don't have any receivers. It's not necessarily a health thing for me if he's ready to go. He doesn't have enough around him to where he's going to be able to succeed. And if I guess Peters is going to play, but if he's banged up, your left tackle, blind side, if he's not 100%, you take another hit, boom, there goes your knee again. Yeah. And from all reports, last time he was seen on video, the leg looked weak and wobbly. And I remember Troy Aikman saying that after seeing him play recently. So I knew it was going to happen eventually. Yeah. I don't think it should happen this soon. If everybody was healthy around him, then maybe. But I don't think he has enough healthy people around him right now. We'll Bad start, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know who they're playing this week, but they probably took in consideration the opponent if it's not a tough opponent. But
well, we should know this since we're hosting the show, and they're playing the Colts.
And it's
a home game.
Yeah, so. The Colts their defense isn't that scary, so we'll see what happens. Ties.
Oh, God.
Another tie. I don't know why the NFL still hasn't changed this rule. Ties are dumb.
Yeah, go to the 25-yard fight, I think. After one overtime, go to the 25-yard fight.
Do something. The ties should never be in place in sports, ever. There should never be a tie in sports. But the Vikings and Packers played to a tie, a very, very controversial call against Clay Matthews. He sacked Kirk Cousins, who threw a pick from that pressure, and it got nullified, and the Vikings went down, scored, hit the 2-point conversion. But that's, once again, players don't know what to do with all these new rules changes. This one I thought was egregious. It looked like a routine sack that always happens, but the Vikings, Packers, two teams that are supposed to be at the top of the division. Vikings are Super Bowl contenders. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. He showed me why I don't trust him on Sunday, because he made plays.
He played great on Sunday.
He made those interceptions that makes you be like, in a big game, he's going to do something like that. He
drove his team down the field with, and it was not his fault. Did you watch it? That was Laquan Treadwell's fault. That first interception, it was right off his hands. Kirk Cousins cannot be blamed for that.
I don't trust him.
He played very well, and then he drove his team down the field. Thielen made a great play, and then Stephon Diggs made a great play as well. And then in overtime, he put his kicker in the position twice to win the game. Kickers again. Daniel Carlson got cut after, missed 3 field goals, 2 of them in overtime. I mean, I think that was even a bigger travesty than what happened in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And what's funny is he's a rookie. The Vikings actually moved up to draft him, and it took him in the 5th round, which, apparently this guy was good coming out of college, but
I believe they signed Dan Bailey.
They did sign Dan Bailey. I don't think this guy's going to get a job again this season after that performance. Mentally, he's totally shook. Yeah. But Kirk Cousins looked great. I disagree with you on that. I don't know if I trust him to win a Super Bowl, but he did look great last week.
Big game, he's going to throw a pick. Now, another young star who's taking the league by storm, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. This guy is on a tear. 6 touchdown passes, 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks. He's not turning the ball over. They were slinging it against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are just awful on defense. But Patrick Mahomes, he's looked good so far for a young quarterback. He's poised. He's getting the ball to the necessary people that he needs to get it to. Sammy Watkins, who would have thought this guy would actually stop playing some good football after all the years of underachieving that he's had? So this is the hype about this young player was up here, and so far he's living up to the hype. 2 weeks into the season, maybe as the season progresses, people will figure him out. But right now, he's playing solid football for the Chiefs, the best offensive team in the league right now. And this is a tough team. If he continues to mature and learn more about the quarterback position, this is going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah, I mean he's number 2 in QBR, right behind Fitzpatrick's, and it's all about speed.
Speed.
You can't overthrow Tyreek Hill.
No, you can't.
Because he'll get there every single time. And Mahomes can throw the ball farther. I think probably one of the best arms in the NFL right now. His father was a professional baseball pitcher, I believe. He is the real deal. Is he going to keep up this pace with? No, I don't think so. I don't think Fitzpatrick is going to keep up this pace either. But right now, they got a great thing going.
Yeah.
Their defense is awful.
Yeah.
They put up each game has been over what? Like I think it was 38 points and then 42 points they gave up. So it's going to have to be all on Mahomes, but it can't always be all on Mahomes in the offense. The defense is going to have to step it up if they want to be a legitimate threat.
Yeah, they have to make some plays at some point during the end of the season. Now, the Sunday night game, the Cowboys and the Giants, this was a snoozer.
Ugh.
Boring game. The Giants are going to regret the day that they didn't take a quarterback. They didn't take a quarterback. They didn't take Sam Darnold. And also their offensive line. Their offensive line needs a lot of help. Eli Manning was on the ground a lot. He didn't
play bad. Eli Manning didn't play bad.
But he was he was getting hit a lot. There was no protection for him. He couldn't. Anytime he dropped back, somebody was in his face. He couldn't get the ball to his playmakers. And, that offensive line was an issue last year. It's still an issue this year. And they need, if they can't protect Eli, they're going to be another top 5 draft pick. They're going to be looking at another season of picking in the top 5 because they look awful. The Cowboys, they didn't look great themselves. Besides that long pass to Tavon Austin, other than that, their offense really didn't do much. Dak
stepped it up.
He stepped it up, but still, they just didn't look like a team that you'd be like, okay, this is a serious contender team. Their defense, I say, is playing well, but their offense still got some issues.
Yeah, I don't think either of these two teams are Super Bowl contenders. And I think Philadelphia is probably going to win the NFC East again. I think the Redskins under Alex Smith will probably finish second.
Yeah.
You're right. I think they are always going to regret letting the other New York team take Sam Darnold. Saquon Barkley had a pretty good game. Not rushing, catching. He was it 14 catches? It was something ridiculous like that. So, but those were a lot of check down routes because, like you said, Eli was under pressure. There was always something in his face. Beckham never got going, and
there's no protection.
Ingram played pretty well, but
no protection.
There's no protection. So Eli again was never comfortable. You're right. It was an absolute snooze fest, and I don't see either of these teams going anywhere. Probably both, maybe 8-8, 7-9 if they're lucky.
Yeah. And other news, Cam Newton last season or the season before, I forget, he was saying how he's not ever protected by the referees.
He said that pretty much every year.
Yeah,
I think,
and he has a legitimate
and he's
point.
been right.
He's been right, but this one, he slid, got hit to the head.
Do we have that clip?
Ref threw the flag.
There we go. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that.
I mean that's
almost a career-ending hit right there. That's a dirty play. The player did get ejected after they had to review it. I don't know why you have to. I mean, I understand why you have to review it, but I don't know if you're watching it, you should have.
Well, no, I think you have to. I think it's part of the rule. You have to go to rejection.
At first, I thought they didn't eject him, and then I saw that they went and reviewed and they ejected the player. I was like, okay, because there's no reason that should ever happen to any quarterback, especially him. That's happened to Cam Newton a few times in his career, and there was no flags thrown. So at points there were no flags thrown, but that was just a dirty play that should never happen in football.
And I kind of agreed with Cam Newton's gripe, but it's with all running quarterbacks that they're not allowed, that they don't really get those calls.
None are his size though.
Right, which makes it a little bit more difficult to go low on a guy.
Yeah, because he's built like a defensive lineman.
He's bigger than a lot of linebackers and defensive linemen. But yeah, clearly those are the type of hits that they want to get out of the game. Yeah. And I think they've done a pretty good job of getting a lot of those hits out of the game. I remember probably about 3 or 4 years ago, there were a lot more. It seemed like there was some every week. I think they're starting to change the way that they're teaching their players how to tackle.
Yeah. Quickly, we got Dolphins versus Jets. You picked this one. I'll talk about the Dolphins real quick. They look too undefeated so far at the top of the AFC.
But I mean, who do they beat? Titans and Jets?
Titans and Jets.
Come on.
You got to beat who. Usually, in past season, these games they would lose. So Ryan Tannehill's back. He said he looked good week 1. This game was another, snooze fest. The defense played well. I mean, so far for the Dolphins, they're playing well. 2-0. I still don't trust their quarterback. There's a lot of quarterbacks in this league I don't trust.
Yeah, you don't like a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I really don't. But good for them starting off 2-0. Can they keep it up? We'll see, because history shows that they never keep it up. They start this way or they start that way.
No, they won't. We're going to talk about the 2-0 teams coming up, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of the 2-0 teams are flukes, and they're not going to last. And all right, but first we're going to talk about Jimmy G.
He looked bounce back game.
He bounced back game, but still he's ranked 31 in QBR. The only one worse is Josh Allen.
I don't understand the QBR. I don't put much into the QBR.
It's a pretty good. I think it's better than just passer rating.
Maybe, but I don't put that much into it. I look at your completion percentages and turnovers. He didn't turn the ball over. He only missed 8 throws. He was 18 for 26, this was better than last game.
But the throws he did miss were off,
Yeah.
were really off, and he did get sacked 6 times, so he was holding on to the ball a little bit too long.
And he needs to use his athleticism. He's got the athletic ability to run, evade tackles, and just run to avoid sacks. He needs to use some of his athleticism, but he had a better game than Week 1. Week 1, he got a reality check from the Vikings defense. Week 2, granted, it's the Lions.
Yeah, right. It was
It's
the Detroit Lions.
It's the Lions.
You have to compare that against what Sam Darnold did to the Lions the week before.
Yeah,
okay, so Jimmy G, by that measuring stick, did not look good. Sam
All that matters
Darnold,
is
a
if
rookie.
you win. He won.
Okay,
Yeah, the
they
team
won, but we're talking about Jimmy G as a quarterback himself.
He won.
It's a
He's
team
only
sport.
He's only lost one game as a starter.
I told you Jimmy G would be a bust. So that was in my fantasy predictions, and I still think that way. And they're starting to worry in San Francisco a little bit.
They don't.
I read the articles.
Yeah, they're
I read the
overreaction.
San Francisco Times.
Of the undefeated teams, who are you most
You
impressed
can't really
with?
say undefeated in week 2.
Well, that's
By
still-
week
that's
5,
still-
they're undefeated.
that's still-
Teams, let's call them teams who won 2
It's
games.
overreaction. We're going to overreact to
That's
the
not me.
undefeated
That's
teams.
you. That's okay. So we'll read them off first. So Broncos, they beat the Seahawks and the Raiders. Big whoop. Not big on them. Dolphins, they beat the Titans and the Jets. Big whoop. Not big on them. Bengals beat the Colts and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens was a quality win. But I'm still not high on the Bengals.
Me either.
The Bucks beat the Saints and the Eagles. Those are 2 big wins.
Big.
I'm all in on the Buccaneers
The Bucks, yeah,
for
they beat
right
2
now.
playoff teams. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'm rooting for them out of NFC teams. Chiefs, they beat the Chargers and the Steelers.
I'm with you on
Big
the Chiefs.
wings.
I like the
Big
Chiefs.
wings.
I like the Chiefs.
Jags, Giants, not a big win. Patriots, obviously a
big
very
one.
big win. And then the Rams beat the Raiders and the Cardinals, 2 not very good teams. But we know the Rams are legit
Yeah,
because they
they're
crushed their opponents.
So far, it's the Jaguars and the Bucks right now. Those are the 2 most impressive. The surprising one is Denver for me. Denver is surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, what? They beat the Colts. That's not surprising. But their win over the Ravens.
They were last-second wins, though.
Yeah.
The Ravens gave them that game. Last-second field goal.
Could the Bengals win
Nope.
their division?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I mean,
They're gonna screw
who
it
are you
up.
looking at?
They're going to screw it up.
They're looking at Ravens,
They're
and
gonna screw it
Ravens
up.
aren't playing well,
They are
and the
going-
Steelers aren't looking well.
They're going to do Bengals stuff and screw it up.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I
To
picked
our
the Browns
DraftKings.
anyway. Oh, yeah, DK.
DraftKings time.
Are you trying to keep us on time?
Yeah, I'm
This
trying to
is
keep
like-
you on time.
Oh, okay. Sometimes we ramble. Mukala's got a little timer.
Yeah.
That he has
So
there.
DraftKings time. We should see our. I actually did well last game.
Yeah,
last
you
one.
did do well. If you listened to me the first week, you did well. If you listen to me this week, you just
Yeah,
did moderately okay.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, I didn't do bad.
Yeah,
We
no.
both beat Craig.
Yeah.
Craig, we
Craig's-
got to teach Craig a little bit
Yeah,
about
he's
how to play this game.
He's having some issues.
All right, I'll let the winner go first. Who's your lineup this week?
Who is my
Pull it
lineup? If Pedro could pull that
I like
up.
the background.
I have Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback.
Everybody's gonna have Patrick.
Of course, you gotta
Not me.
overreact. Get Patrick Mahomes out there.
Oh, they don't even have his picture up yet. Come on, that's
I have
disrespectful.
Collins. I think he's gonna have a big game. Marshawn Lynch. The Raiders are doing their best to get him the ball. Jameson Crowder, Tyreek Hill, of course, Kenny Stills, Burton from the Bears. He's a red zone target.
I got him in my regular fantasy
Howard,
team.
and I'm gonna go with the Jacksonville defense.
I don't know. I don't know about that lineup.
My lineup is.
I'm surprised you're choosing a wide receiver that's going to be catching passes from Alex Smith, who's probably your least favorite quarterback from what I've gathered.
He's reliable.
Oh, he's reliable. I thought you hated Alex Smith. Oh, God. All right, I'm going to go through mine, which is obviously a much better lineup. I'm going to stick with my home quarterback and star wide receiver stack that I do. I got Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. They're taking on the defensive optional New Orleans Saints. I'm going to go with Tevin Coleman because, again, and I'll take another Falcon right there. Chris Thompson, Tyreek Hill. You got to start this guy. You got to expect some big explosive plays. Cooper Kupp. He's a good slot receiver, and I was reading he got like the most red zone targets out of any player in the league so far. So that's always a good sign. Jared Cook, he seems to be one of Derek Carr's favorite targets. Eric Ebron, I think it's very cheap, $3,400 for him. I didn't have much money left over. And then I'm going to go with Seattle's defense against Dallas. I didn't really see much, like we talked about, that stinker they had against the Giants. The Seahawks are home. They're still not the defense that they used to be when they had the Legion of Boom, but home they're always dangerous, and I don't like Dallas.
Solid one. Let's take it to Craig. See what he got.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to No Huddle on After the Whistle. And it's your boy Craig from The Flex. We air Wednesday nights at 9. Come check me out. But for right now, we're going to do my DraftKings picks. I'm going to admit something, is that I'm not doing very well on DraftKings. I'm not claiming to be a DraftKings specialist. Regular fantasy football, when you have the same lineup every week, that's my thing. But I'm trying to get better at DraftKings, so my picks this week, I hope these picks I'm actually pretty proud of. I think these picks are going to work out for you. So starting off with Kirk Cousins, going up against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are terrible. Quarterbacks facing them are going to have good games, so I think Kirk Cousins is going to go off. I'm expecting Kirk Cousins to score in the 30s. And then following that up with Dalvin Cook. I think Cook is going to be healthy, and I think this is going to be the best game of Cook's season. You're going up against the worst defense in the NFL, so you got to put Dalvin Cook in. I think this is going to be the game that's going to give him his confidence to ride out through the rest of the season. With my next pick, I'm rolling the dice, and I'm going to say Aaron Jones is going to be the guy. He's coming back off a 2-game suspension. He's going to want to have the best game so that he can win that job. He wants the starting job, and I think this is going to be the game to prove it. I'm going to follow that up with Nelson Agholor, Mr. Reliable this season. He put up almost 14 points in week 1 and was over almost 25 points in week 2. I think he's going to ride that wave out, so I'm going to play Nelson Agholor definitely. And I'm going to follow that up with Will Fuller. Will Fuller's been playing really well. I think he's been doing incredible as the number 2 wide receiver, and I think at his price point, you're getting a steal, so I'm going to put Will Fuller in. And I'm going to follow that up with Keelan Cole. What Keelan Cole did against the Patriots with that catch, you saw it, 3 fingers on it. I think that Keelan Cole is going to put up another great performance against the Tennessee Titans because I don't think Butler can hang on to him. Butler's not a cover guy. He's a tackler, and I think that Keelan Cole is going to take advantage of him. I'm going to follow that up with another Vikings player by putting Kyle Rudolph in because it's the Bills, and the Bills are not good defensively, so I think Kyle Rudolph is going to be really good in the red zone when they're looking to get that touchdown. I'm going to follow this up by putting in Funchess. I think they have a good matchup against the Saints. The Saints haven't been doing very well at stopping anybody. I think Lattimore could have been a fluke, man, because he's not being the shutdown corner he was last year. So I'm looking for Funchess to put up some numbers for me. I'm thinking he's going to definitely get at least 15 points, and for his price point, he's a steal. And then finally, I'm going to put in the Vikings defense because they're playing the Bills. Vikings defense is going to be sacking. They're going to be intercepting. They're going to be fumble recovering. It's going to be a smorgasbord of just incredible defensive plays. They're going to be putting up more points than some offensive players. So that's my DraftKings picks for the week. My name's Craig. My show's The Flex. This is No Huddle. Have a good night.
All right, so we had a little mess up, Craig. We're going to have to inform this guy that the Panthers are actually playing the Bengals. That's why we both kind of, when I heard Lattimore, like, hey, what's he thinking?
Yeah.
You know what? Let's not tell him because then he might win. He might change his mind. All right, so don't listen to Craig this week. You can listen to Brian. Don't listen to Mukala either. But thank you again, Craig. It's always nice seeing you reporting from the Blimp. It's a very fun place to be. I still haven't got to film up there, but I hear it's great. All right, so let's move on to boxing.
Fight.
Triple G, Gennady Golovkin against Saul Canelo Alvarez. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it.
Like, do you have anything to say about it?
I heard from what I was hearing, Triple G. People are saying Triple G should have won the decision, but from what you told me, he lost the fight. You said he should have knocked him out if he really wanted to win. He didn't do that. It was left up to the decision. They said Canelo controlled the fight for the majority of it. So, hey, boxing, if you don't knock him out and you leave it to the decision, you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, it was. I wouldn't mind seeing it as a draw. One of the judges scored it as a draw. 115, 113 is not an outrageous score for Canelo. It's only one round difference. Mm-hmm. Canelo, this was so different from the first fight and different than Canelo's fought before. Canelo's usually a counterpuncher. He was the aggressor here. He had Golovkin going back on his heels pretty much the entire time. Mm-hmm. And Golovkin was, landing his jab pretty much at will, but it wasn't having any effect on Canelo. And in the later rounds, Golovkin started to come on. He started to land some shots, but they weren't with the power that we normally see from Golovkin. He looked old in the fight. Mm-hmm. He started to look tired. But it was a great fight, and I think that you should definitely go back and watch it. It's going to be on for free this weekend if you got Showtime.
Yeah, I'll watch it tomorrow.
Well, it'll be on for free this week on Showtime. But it was a great fight, and I would love to see a trilogy. I think there probably will be a trilogy because, like you said, there's some controversy, and these guys are just so evenly matched that they can fight 10 times, and it'll probably be 5 wins for each guy. So I thought it was a great fight. It definitely lived up to the hype. I do not think it was a robbery, and we'll see where these guys go next. Hopefully it's a trilogy.
Definitely. Quickly, before we go to our +1 interview, we'll give you some NBA updates. Dwayne Wade announced this is going to be his last season. This is his last season, so he's going on a farewell tour. He's probably going to go down as the top 5 shooting guard in league history. Without an MVP.
Top 5?
Without an MVP. If you look at his stats, he's up there. Or top 10. But he's up there with some of the best. He just doesn't have an MVP, which kind of tough.
He was on the cover of NBA 2K, which that counts for something, right?
Yeah, that counts for something. Jimmy Butler is requested a trade from the Timberwolves. We don't know where they're going to trade him to or if he's even going to get traded. I'm guessing maybe LeBron, the GM, is going to try to get him to LA. That'll be a good fit for them. Or he's been saying he wants to play with Kyrie Irving. We'll see what happens there. And the Jabari Bird update.
Well, I asked you, not to interrupt, but who would you give up for Jimmy Butler?
I'd give up Terry Rozier.
Well, yeah, but you're going to need to give him more than Terry Rozier to get Jimmy Butler.
I'll give him a draft pick.
But isn't he pretty much a similar player to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? I mean, it's they all kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, it could work. I believe in Brad Stevens.
Okay.
And Jabari Bird pleaded not guilty to the charges that are going up against him. We'll have more on that as it goes on. What I've been hearing, it's not looking good for him.
No, it's a very strange, disturbing story.
Very strange, but we'll see as it develops. But so far, he's pleaded not guilty. He's going to be away from the Celtics. Preseason starts in about a week or so. I believe they start camp next week or something like that. But this was a terrible timing for just season's right around the corner. So, yeah. But we got +1 with Rob Parker. He's the first award-winning journalist that we've had on. The first.
Yeah.
Award-winning sports journalist.
Yeah. He knows his stuff. Yeah. But we got to start vetting these guys because he's not exactly a Patriots fan. From which I found out.
Here's our +1 with Rob Parker. Hello and welcome to another edition of our +1 interview. Today we have a very special guest. He's all the way in California, but he got the time to call in today. We have Fox Sports 1 analyst, and he has a new radio show, him and Chris Broussard. We have Mr. Rob Parker on. How you doing, Rob?
Doing great. What's happening?
You know, nothing much. Just another rainy day in Massachusetts. How's everything with you?
Just another sunny, beautiful day in Los Angeles. I'm sorry about that.
Before we get started, I understand you have you and Chris Broussard have a new radio show.
Yes, it's called The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. We're on from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. We just started the show on Monday. We used to be a weekend show on Sunday, so now it's full-time, 5 days a week. It's great. Chris and I, you know, two newspaper journalists turned TV and radio analysts now, so it's a good pairing, and we are definitely the odd couple.
Definitely. Now, before we get into some football talk, baseball postseason is right around the corner. So, who are the teams that that you've been surprised with lately this season, and who are some of the players that caught you by surprise?
I mean, obviously, the Oakland A's are the big surprise in the American League. I mean, I looked at that team. I just didn't think they had much going on. Yeah. And they took the American League by storm. We know the powers in the American League are in place. The Red Sox had an unbelievable season. Any other year, the Yankees, with their wins, would be in first place. Instead, they're in second place, 9, 10 games out of first place, which is weird. Yeah. Cleveland is really good. Houston, of course, who won the World Series a year ago, is great. So it's going to be great American League playoffs. Yeah. In the National League, it's kind of up in the air. I really do not know what to expect. Before the season started, I picked the Chicago Cubs and the New York Yankees in the World Series. But maybe it could wind up being Boston and, I don't know, either Chicago or the Dodgers. So Boston looks like they're as strong as anybody, and hopefully what happened to them last year won't happen again this year.
Yeah, definitely. And also, J.D. Martinez, he had quite the season. There were a lot of skepticism on his signing. What did you make of this season that he's had?
He's had an unbelievable year playing in that ballpark. Has been magical. But I got to watch him. I covered J.D. Martinez in Detroit when he first came up. Remember, he got cut by Houston. Yeah. He got picked up by the Tigers and started to mash there. So he was a big-time player. But now, and then, last year, when he was traded, he had a really great season as well. So I'm not surprised totally. I've seen this guy over a number of years, but he's had an unbelievable year for the Red Sox. So J.D. Martinez has been a godsend.
Definitely. Now, switching gears to the NFL, we've got 2 weeks into the season. You had some big games. What are so far your surprises so far with the undefeated teams?
The Jaguars. I mean, I picked them to make it to the Super Bowl from the AFC. I think they're the Patriots' kryptonite. And last year, let's be honest, they led 20-10 in the fourth quarter in Foxborough. And really, had they been able to get a first down or two, probably would have beaten the Patriots, and they would have gone to the Super Bowl. So they're 2-0. Blake Bortles is playing well. They have a really good defense. I like that team a lot in the AFC.
My thing with Jacksonville is, can you really rely on Blake Bortles to keep it up? Because, you did say they did have that lead in the AFC Championship game, but then they went conservative. And with the Patriots, if you don't step on their throats and just beat them, and you give them a grim of chance to win the game, they'll take advantage of that. They did that in the AFC Championship game. The Jaguars, again, they almost did that this game, but their defense came through and forced that turnover on Brady that kind of changed the impact of the game. So do you think you can trust Blake Bortles to keep up the performance that he had on Sunday? Because that's my thing with the Jaguars. I don't really trust Blake Bortles like that. And with the Patriots, for some reason, they have these losses every year, and in the AFC, there's not really that many teams that you can say, okay, this team's gonna go to it. Because right now, it looks like it's gonna be the Jaguars, the Chiefs, and Patriots. Those are the three teams right now that I think are in the run to go to represent the AFC.
No, I get it. I mean, it's just what people do, but I think people are mistaken. The Patriots are being held together by tape, glue, and mirrors and smoke. I think that defense, you saw it give up 41 points in the Super Bowl. They were terrible.
Yeah.
And this defense gave up. Blake Bortles had 4 touchdowns
Yeah.
this past Sunday against this defense. So I don't know why people keep imagining or acting like nothing hasn't happened here.
Yeah.
And, Josh Gordon, I know everybody thinks he's going to be the magical elixir, but I've also seen the Patriots bring in Ocho Cinco. That didn't work out. Michael Floyd, that didn't work out. They brought in Albert Hainsworth. That didn't work out. So everybody who comes to New England doesn't automatically work out. Josh Gordon is a talented receiver. He just can't stay on the field and can't seem to be able to get things, his life in order so that he can just play football. So I'm not convinced that all their woes are corrected and that they're still going to be there. I do not expect the Patriots to be in the AFC Championship game, let alone the Super Bowl.
I still think they'll be in the AFC Championship game just because the AFC, there's so many dysfunction with the Steelers. It's the Chiefs, the Jaguars, the Patriots, and you can't really name any other team. The Dolphins, but can you really trust the Dolphins? And the Broncos, you don't know what to expect from Case Keenum. So the AFC is a small team race. Let's look at the NFC side. The Giants, they had this hype about them. This is 2 years in a row they've had so much hype going into the season, and once again they started off with 2 losses. What do you make of them?
I don't think the Giants are that good. I mean, I think that they will rue the day that they didn't pick Sam Darnold to replace Eli Manning, and they thought that if they just put weapons around him, that would help Eli. The offense looked awful against Dallas. They're 0-2, and I think that they're going to look at them and realize that they made a mistake. That's not to say that Saquon Barkley isn't a good running back and he's not going to have a good career. But when you have a chance to get a franchise quarterback, I think you have to do it when you have that opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I'm picking the Eagles to repeat and win a Super Bowl. And I know most people think I'm crazy, but I really believe that if they were asking Nick Foles to do a repeat performance of what he did last year, I would agree that the Eagles have no shot to win. But I think Carson Wentz has something to prove, and he's coming back for week 3. This guy was going to win the MVP, and if it wasn't for him getting hurt, that's how Brady won the MVP by default. Carson Wentz was the best quarterback a year ago. I believe he's still hungry for a Super Bowl, and even though he has a ring, his ring is cubic zirconia because he didn't get to play in the Super Bowl. And he's going to be the linchpin, the guy to ignite that team, keep it hungry, because he wants to win. He wants to lead the team that he wasn't able to lead last year because he was hurt. I still think the Eagles have a great roster, and I like the Eagles to repeat as Super Bowl champs.
I agree with you on the Carson Wentz, the MVP thing. I thought if he had stayed healthy last year, the MVP was his to win, and the injury derailed him. Also, I'm looking at the Rams. I'm looking at the Vikings. The Vikings, I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I trust their defense, but I don't trust Kirk Cousins. The Rams, I think they have all the talent, but we just have to see it in the postseason. Their last season in the postseason, they were out. So the NFC seems to be more wide open than the AFC.
The NFC, right. There's a lot of good teams, and you're right. The problem with the Rams is they had a great year last year, and then they made a stinker in the playoffs, So you just don't know. They have the names. They brought in some big players, and Ndamukong Suh and whatnot. So their defense is strong. And Jared Goff, I was at the Rams game on Sunday when they blew out the Cardinals, and they're really good. They're going to be in the mix. But I'm going to go with Carson Wentz and him having something to prove and the Eagles. I mean, they were underdogs last year because they had so many guys injured. All those guys are going to be back. I think they'll be better later than they are early. And that's all you need to do is have that momentum going into the playoffs. The Vikings, I'm with you. I know their defense is good, and Kirk Cousins is, I guess, an upgrade for what they had at quarterback. But I'm still not convinced I still think there's a chance that Aaron Rodgers and the Packers could actually win the NFC North.
Definitely. And we just got a couple, we're almost out of time here. Just quickly, I know you have an article up on the Shadow League about the NFL Hall of Famers. Can you quickly talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, they're threatening to boycott the ceremonies in Canton next year if the NFL doesn't come up with an annual salary for Hall of Famers and health insurance.
Okay.
So these players and all the big-name players, there's 180 living Hall of Famers for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they look like they're all have solidarity and they're serious about it. So this will be interesting to see how it plays out if the NFL comes up with some money and health care for these guys.
All right, awesome. Well, once again, thank you, Rob, for coming on. Last week we had some technical difficulties, but thank you once again for coming on. We'll definitely be in contact with you about if the Patriots do make it to the Super Bowl. You'll be the first person we call.
All right, well, we'll do that, man. You know that. You're my man. Take care.
All right, you have a great one.
All right. Well, thank you, Rob Parker. He was from Fox Sports 1. That's big. Unfortunately, he's not a big Patriots fan, but he does know more than you and I combined. So hopefully he's not right. But, yeah, if the Patriots do win, he's going to be the first one we call. But thanks again, Rob Parker. That was great.
He knows it.
Let's get into Athletes Corner. This was a good one. Lynn Tech football. We had the quarterback and linebacker, and they were good. They were good. Check it out. Check it out. All right, welcome to another edition of Athletes Corner. We got two special guests coming on today, all the way from Lynn Tech. We got quarterback David Barrios, and we got linebacker Emerson Ramirez. I said the wrong name. Emerson, his name's Emerson Ramirez. Correction on my end. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
How's everything going for you guys?
Going good.
All right, so talk about it. You guys, quick start, 2-0 start to start off the season. Talk about the two games that you guys played so far. What are some things that you've learned so far about your team this season?
Our first game in the Neshoba Valley, that was our first game, and that was the team that we played last year for the Super Bowl. And last year we played them at their house. This year they came back to our house here at Manning. So obviously they came in with the big chip on their shoulder, wanting licking the chops to get at us. And that first game was tough. We ended 6-2. That game was it was just going back and forth. And luckily we came out on top that game.
Yeah, 6-2 game. Not the offense wasn't quite there. So Emerson, what did you guys do on the defensive side of the ball just to slow them down?
Well, to be honest, the whole week we just had it all planned out on how they run their offense, and we just work as a team to get the offense back the ball and make sure that they get the job done once we get our job done.
For you, how frustrating was that as a quarterback of the team, just that you guys weren't able to put up as much points as you would have liked to put? You did come out with the victory. Football, two sides, the offense, defense, special teams, but just not putting that many points on the board. What was that like for you?
In the game, obviously, it's frustrating, but being the quarterback, I can't show that frustration. Yeah. I have to encourage the guys, let them know that we're okay.
Yeah, definitely. We just
gotta keep pushing. We just gotta keep digging and just come out on top.
All right, and you guys bounced the second game of the season. You guys, all around. Once again, you guys defense showed up, offense showed up. Just talk about that game.
Just going off of the week before, just going back, seeing the film, seeing what we did wrong, and then we came back and just wanting to clean things up and not wanting the same thing that happened the week before. So I think that's the big reason for the big turnaround.
Talk about the defense. What is the defensive mindset? What are some things that you guys know you guys have to do on a consistent basis, just so you guys could get the team out of their rhythm, just make them uncomfortable?
To be honest, just go out there and pound. Yeah, like Coach says, just since the first play, whistle to whistle, just straight pound them and do our job.
Can you guys talk a little about the difference from last year's team to this year's team? I know you guys lost two of your star running backs, graduation, and what are some of the things that you two personally wanted to do so you guys could be those leaders to help, just fill the void that those two did for you guys last season?
Obviously they were a big component of our team, but we always had younger guys and guys who were always ready to step up and just fill those roles. So that was a big thing. Like during the off season, we made sure everyone was there, made sure like we were consistent with the workouts and everything. So now we have a lot of players who can come out and at the games and make the plays that we need to.
Yeah. Now, what's it going to take for you guys to just keep this going, keep the winning streak going? Because the season goes on, every game gets tougher and tougher. The body wears out. So what do you guys need to do just to make sure you guys stay focused and just to keep it playing on a consistent basis?
Just never be satisfied. Never be satisfied of a win. Just always keep, especially in practice, just always keep it going and going. Never just back down. Always forward.
I'm also sure you guys have the target of your head, targets on your heads because of the success you guys had last season, winning the Super Bowl, and you guys are poised to repeat that. What's that like? Just having teams gunning for you guys, just knowing that you guys had so much success last season.
Like every single week, we know we have a target on our back. They're trying to put us back down. Obviously, being another team coming up against a #1 seed from the preseason, you be another team. You want to knock them down and just make a statement to say, "Oh, we can knock that team down." So obviously, every single week we know that the opposing team is trying to come at us and trying to take that away from us. And we're being defending state champions. We have to defend that. So we have to play. We have to practice like if we were champions to come on the field and do that.
Yeah. Now, you guys, who are some of the teams that you guys know when it's time? When it's time to play those teams that you guys have to be on your A game. If you can't have no slip-ups, you have to be mentally focused. You have to be just prepared all around for that team.
To be honest, we prepare for every team as if that team's like the best team. So we never think of a team inferior, but obviously like there's going to be those big teams that we're going to be playing, and one of the big teams is a big powerhouse out in Wakefield Northeast, Technical Regional School, and they're a big just powerhouse team that just likes to run the ball, and they have the big boys out there.
All right, definitely. Now, you guys, what's the schedule like? You guys got an upcoming game this weekend. What are you guys doing what are some things that you guys are looking at for this upcoming team you guys playing?
Minutemen.
The Minutemen. What are some things that you guys are looking at that team that you guys particularly want to, we got to take this away just so in order for us to succeed?
Oh, they're just a double wing team. So all they do is just literally try to run it through the middle and all that. So we're just getting our linemen ready, our D-line ready to just go out there and do it.
And talk a little about the offense. Early part of the season, sometimes it takes a little while just to, you're still trying to figure some stuff out, just trying to get everybody to mesh together. So just talk about, how's that going for you, just the whole process of just making this offense work?
Like when Cam started, like trying to put in like all the younger guys to come up and obviously fulfill those roles. It was kind of it was rough at first. But I think that once the guys got used to it and like just understood like what it took and like what it's like to be on varsity. Like they started like getting used to it and getting the experience. So like now like in the games, they're not scared of the lights being so bright. So that was a big thing that we had to get over.
Yeah, and for you guys as captains, just what are some things that you just egg on you guys just to, how you guys just get them prepared each game?
To be honest, we just always try to keep them up, like never bring them down. Even if they like mess up, just always bring them up, make them be the best they can be.
Yeah, that's another thing. As captains, you guys also have to, if somebody messes up on a play, you guys have to be the ones that are constantly on them to keep them mentally prepared and just not have them think about that same play going on to the fourth quarter. But, I mean, Minutemen Friday, is it at Manning Field? Or?
Yeah,
it's Manning.
Minutemen Friday, they're going against them. Go support them, 5 p.m. Check them out. Undefeated so far, 2-0. They're looking to repeat. You guys want to say anything to the audience as well? That's your camera right there.
Come over and support. You won't be. It's Saturday at 7. It's
Saturday at 7. Yeah.
Saturday at 7. We all got the wrong time. Saturday at 7.
Saturday at 7.
Check it out. You got nothing to do on a Saturday night, go to Manning Field. Check out some high school football. Check these guys out.
Yes,
they undefeated. Guys, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
You guys are welcome back anytime. Come back anytime, whenever you want. Make college announcements or anything like that. We got you guys. So thanks once again. All right. Once again, check them out Saturday at 7 p.m. at Manning Field against the Minutemen. They're undefeated, 2-0. Lynn Tech football. We're going to toss it back to Brian.
All right, welcome back. We talk way too much, and we are already out of time, so we can't even do our predictions. I have to talk really fast. So why don't you do your outro really fast, too?
Monday, ice cream video game social.
Not an ice cream movie.
We love free ice cream. Bring the kids, bring everybody. Monday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We are signing off, guys. Sorry, we couldn't give our predictions, but maybe we will next week. Patriots gonna win though.
And it's Mario Kart that we're going to be playing,
Yeah.
and I will win that.